Welcome inside Auburn Arena, down on the plains. It is the Tigers taking on the Wildcats. Look at the atmosphere here. The Gymnasties are out to play, and they're going to make things tough on the Kentucky Wildcats, who have had a fantastic season here in 2022 under Coach Tim Garrison. Hi there again, along with Olympic silver medalist Sam Peshek. I'm Alex Perlman. And Sam, there might not be a number next to Kentucky's name because with the NQS kicking in, well, they don't have the road score necessary to get a ranking. But make no mistake about it, Jeff Graba told us this is a top 10 team, and this is not going to be easy, even for Auburn.
Well, the interesting thing is that both of these teams are historically considered underdogs, and not anymore. They can contend with the best. Both Auburn and Kentucky can outmatch a lot of the teams in the country, which makes tonight's matchup even more exciting.
How can you be an underdog when you have the Olympic all-around champion in Suni Lee? For Auburn, my goodness, what a season she has had. She's done 4 all-around so far in college. Sam, she's won all 4 of them, including last week.
She has really shocked fans across the nation. She's been successfully contributing in the all-around, like you mentioned, debuting new skills and new routine compositions each week, which is not easy to do. And tonight we are in for a treat. She is going to do something that we have never, ever seen before in the NCAAs.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. On the other side for Kentucky, it's the Raina Worley show. She's the only all-around, but Sam, it's quality over quantity.
Yeah, she is a rock, the steady Eddie of the team, and really a great leader. She continuously raises the bar, not only for herself, but for the entire team. And by the looks of it, she is dialed in this year.
And she has not gone below 39.6 the entire season in all around. She has been fantastic. So is her team and the Wildcats. It should be a great one tonight. Awesome atmosphere here in now the new epicenter for college gymnastics, Auburn, Alabama. Sam and I will be back with you in just a few minutes for the start of the meet, but for now, let's send it to PA announcer Tim Chambliss.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet tonight's competitors. Please give a warm welcome to the Kentucky Wildcats. Haley Davis, Raina Worley, Mackenzie Wilson, Isabella McNally, Josie Anthony, Carissa Clay, Anna Higas, Rena Alvarez, Ashlyn LeClaire, Annie Reigert, Cassidy Howell, Callie Nixon, Ariana Patterson, Shaylin Luxick, Lila Smith, and Jillian Brokaski. The head coach for Kentucky is Tim Garrison. And now, Tiger fans, get up and get loud and let's meet your Auburn Tigers. Please welcome a freshman from Sugar Hill, Georgia, and a two-time regional champion, Ananda Brown. A freshman from West Des Moines, Iowa, a two-time SEC Freshman of the Week and a member of the 9.9 Club, Sophia Groom. A freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, and a two-time regional champion, Sarah Hubbard. A freshman from St. Paul, Minnesota with a 10.0 on bars and an Olympic gold medalist, Suni Lee. A freshman from Birmingham, Alabama and a two-time regional qualifier, Caroline Leonard. A sophomore from Seabrook, Texas, and a Scholastic All-American, Olivia Hollingsworth. A sophomore from Irving, Texas, and a member of our 9.9 Club, Gabby McLaughlin. A sophomore from Windermere, Florida, and a JO National Champion, Peyton Smith. A sophomore from Waterford, Michigan, and an SEC Academic Honor Roll member, Tara Walsh. A junior from Cincinnati, Ohio, and a Scholastic All-American and a member of our 9.9 Club, Aria Rush. A junior from Orlando, Florida, and a Scholastic All-American, Morgan Lee Oldham. A junior from Castle Rock, Colorado, and a Scholastic All-American, Adeline Sabados. A junior from Cherryville, North Carolina, a member of our 9.9 Club and an SEC Academic Honor Roll member, Piper Smith. A junior from Phoenix, Arizona, an All-SEC and Scholastic All-American, Cassie Stevens. A junior from Sumner, Georgia, and a Scholastic All-American, Anna Sumner. A senior from Sarasota, Florida, a national champion and three-time All-American, Darian Gover. A fifth-year senior from Aurora, Colorado, in the 9.9 club and on the SEC Academic Honor Roll, Jada Glenn. A fifth-year senior from Mobile, Alabama, in the 9.9 club and a Scholastic All-American, Allie Riddle. And a fifth-year senior from Tyler, Texas, an All-American and three-time All-SEC, Drew Watson. The Tigers are coached by Kurt Henninger, Ashley Johnston, and Brittany Webster, and it is 12th season as the head coach of your Tigers.
All right, you are all set for Kentucky and Auburn coming up at the bottom of the hour on SEC Network. Looking forward to seeing you there. For Sam Peshek, I'm Alex Perlman. Talk to you then. Friday Night Heights rolls on here inside Auburn Arena in the newest epicenter of college gymnastics. The Gymnasties are out to play. The Tigers have kind of taken over the college gymnastics universe here this season, and we are so looking forward to this one with Auburn taking on Kentucky. Hi there again, along with Olympic silver medalist Sam Peshek. I'm Alex Perlman. Well, Sam, excitement doesn't begin to describe what we're feeling right now because we get to see one of the best in the entire country and Kentucky a very worthy adversary.
Well, what's interesting is that historically speaking, both of these teams were considered underdogs, but not anymore. Both Auburn and Kentucky can compete with anyone in the country, and I think they're ready for it. So that's what makes this matchup even more exciting.
How could you possibly be an underdog when you have Suni Lee, the reigning Olympic all-around gold medalist?
Yeah, she has been successfully contributing in the all-around, not only debuting new skills and new routine compositions, which we all know is not easy to do, she's also debuting a brand new skill tonight that has never been done in NCAA gymnastics.
Yeah, we will see that coming up on bars. You do not want to miss it. And then on the other side for Kentucky, though, only one all-arounder, but Raina Worley shines through. It's real quality over quantity for the Wildcats this season.
She has been the rock, the steady Eddie, and really a great leader for this team. She continuously raises the bar, not only individually, but for the team as well, increasing their stick percentages and their goals every single week. She is dialed in, that's all I can say, and so is her team. Tonight's going to be a fun meet.
All right, about to get things going here. Auburn will start things on vault, and this is where they are 6th in the nation. 49-3 is their national qualifying score. How you get there, well, you'll have to stay tuned for that, as well as Sam and I will describe that a little later on in the broadcast. It'll start things off here with Sophia Groth, terrific freshman out of West Des Moines, Iowa. Had a 9.825 last week. She's vaulted every meet this year. Nothing for her below a 9.825. One of Auburn's real strengths, along with Beam. They'll do that third here at home, where they are the #2 team in the country.
Oh,
a bit of a false start.
Oh, it looks like a guy with the audio cords walked in front of the runway. I'm not sure I've ever seen something like that in college gymnastics before. It's, of course, at no fault of Sophia's. She didn't touch the board, so she can go back and try again. But remember, this is more of a mental sport than a physical sport, so having to completely start from scratch is a little mentally taxing.
And here's her first vault. Wow, what a rebound right there for Sophia. That was exceptional.
But it was no problem for her, like you mentioned, Alex. She got good block off the table, stretched hips, and a very clean landing.
And so a great start on vault here for Auburn. Kentucky will start things out on bars.
First up on bars for Kentucky, Haley Davis.
Want to welcome those of you watching Missouri and Alabama. Welcome to Auburn Arena here in Auburn, Alabama. Alex Perlman, Sam Peshek along with you. So glad to join you for this real, what would be a top 10 showdown here if the rankings were not national qualifying score. We'll explain that in a little bit. But so excited here as Kentucky starts things out on bars, where they had a 49.45 last week. Haley Davis, this is one of their strengths. She had a 9.8 last 2 weeks in the leadoff spot. Here's how it works in college gymnastics in a dual meet. 6 gymnasts per team compete in each event. There's 4 of them. The 5 best scores count for each rotation, so the lowest is dropped, and then you add them up at the end. Team with the highest cumulative score wins. For Auburn, they are the home team, and they will go in what's called Olympic order: vault, uneven bars, balance beam, and then floor exercise. So here's our first look at the Tigers. We already saw a 9.825 for Sophia Groth and Sarah Hubbard, who had a 9.85 last week.
Their first Yurchenko 1.5 in their lineup in today's meet. I know head coach Jeff Grabo was really pushing to get more 1.5s in the lineup, but after watching their warm-ups, looks like they just weren't quite ready. So Sarah was the first one to throw that 10.0 start value vault. Good chest position on the landing. Just a little shuffle with her feet.
And Jeff Graba did say that he thinks that the team that's going to win a national championship is going to have at least 5 10.0 vaults with the start value to compete for that, and he certainly thinks his team is capable of it, and why not? They've had 6 straight weeks scoring a 197 or better. First time that's happened in program history. Of course, they have one of the best gymnasts in the entire country in Suni Lee. Sam, what are they looking for, the judges, on uneven bars?
On the uneven bars, those handstands are so important. Release moves, you want to be a good distance away from the bar when you catch, and of course, a stuck landing.
Jillian Pikowski following up Haley Davis's 9.8. And there's a stick.
And, you know, head coach Tim Garrison told us that she actually sticks 9 out of 10 dismounts. So it's at no surprise to this Kentucky team that she was able to lock that in. She just recently got in this bar lineup, and it's been really successful for them.
And that could be huge, too, replacing a stalwart in Caitlin de Guzman, who hurt her knee a couple of weeks ago. All right, so Drew Watson now to follow up a 9.825 and a 9.875. Good start for Auburn on vault. Watson a 9.9 last week. She's 3-time All-SEC and one of the heartbeats of this team, the grad student from Tyler, Texas, in her 5th and final season.
You're going to be seeing another Yurchenko 1.5 from Drew Watson. I watched her in warm-ups, and she was just as dynamic as she was right there. I am so impressed with her consistency with this vault. Look how straight her arms are on the table. And then, of course, she knows exactly where she is and opens her arms out for the landing.
And gets the shades as a present there as well. Good reward. Callie Nixon now, 9.875 for her the last 2 weeks. Pikowski's score just came in, a new career high with a 9.9. So a good start for both sides here. Kentucky on bars and Auburn on vault.
Starting things off with a Maloney overshoot combination. You're going to see that a lot in today's competition. Nice handstand all the way up. And a huge full-in dismount, no problems on that landing. And of course, I mentioned at the top of the show that Raina Worley said the bar is being raised for this team, and they are working on sticking 4 out of the 6 landings.
And Callie Nixon going above the bar as well. What are judges looking for on vault, Sam?
Start value. You want to see that 10.0 start value from the more difficult vaults, amplitude, and of course, you're going to hear this a lot, the landing.
Darian Goburn, first time we get to see her She is a treat on vault as well as floor. We'll see that at the end of the meet. Just named an AAI award nominee this week, which goes to the top senior in the country.
Last meet, she scored a 9.9 on vault, so she's capable of a big number. Huge 1.5. Looks like she was a little shy in her rotation. Sometimes if you're trying to go too hard for that stuck landing, it can show up in the landing, and I think that's what happened to Darion. But good shapes in the air. She definitely had the amplitude.
So far, they'd be dropping a 9.825 from Sophia Groth, though nothing but 9.875 from Hubbard and Watson. And back-to-back 9.9s for Nixon and Prokaski. Following that up, Shaylin Luxick.
You know, what's interesting is that head coach Tim Garrison said they had a show meet earlier in the week, and he said she got a 10.0 in her show routine, and he said he wasn't being generous. So I'm most looking forward to seeing this bar routine right here. Good handstand to start things off. Nice ray. Very nice rhythm from high to low. She works bars very calmly. Big double leg dismount, and I think that mistake right there was because she was trying to stick a little bit too much, and I think we're gonna see that mistake actually a little bit more towards the middle and the end of season because there is such an emphasis on these landings. A 1/10 is a big deal here.
Now here's our first look at Suni Lee, a career-high 9.925 for her last week. First time that she had competed the half-on front layout, which had never before been competed in college. She starts rewriting these record books even as a freshman. And look at that, so far no 9.9s yet, but very consistent with 3 straight 9.875s here for Auburn on vault.
Here's that half-on. Huge front layout. You can see by her face, she knew she just had too much power in the air there. Everyone's saying, yeah, that was really good. It was safe and it was a good mistake to have. You're gonna see just how high she gets off the table. And I think she actually didn't need to crank it as hard as she did, but because it's a new vault, she's still working on those numbers and getting experience on the hard ground.
And Suni was the anchor last week, but moved into the 5 slot, and we'll see Gabby McLaughlin, who has been inserted into the lineup, finish out the vault rotation for Auburn. Okay, Josie Angeny now, the senior from Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. All SEC the last 3 years. She is terrific on beam. She will anchor that event, the only one that Raina Worley will not. That just tells you how good she is there, but Angeny a 9.875 in the last 2 weeks for Kentucky. 9.75 was the score for Luxick.
I love watching Josie compete. She is just an aggressive athlete across the board, and she's an icy competitor. There's really not built-in deductions in the gymnastics that she's doing. Good, clean lines, and finishing up here with that nice double layout dismount. And what I like about her dismount is that no matter what angle you see it, her legs are glued together, which is tough to do. Nice straddle Jaeger above the bar, right into that overshoot. Comes right back up. This is gonna be a big number for Kentucky. And watch her legs. Glued.
And so trying to replace that 9.75, nothing below a 9.8 at the moment for Kentucky on bars, but what that does is maybe opens up the all-around a bit. We'll have to see what Raina Worley can do. Here is Gabby McLaughlin to finish it off.
Full on tuck off. See a little too much momentum in the landing there. Couldn't quite control her power. And again, this could be middle of the season. It could be them trying a little too hard to be perfect on those landings. But my guess is that that's going to be a focus going into next week.
This is the highest ranking that Auburn has ever had in terms of national qualifying, score number 5 in the country. So it is a bit of unprecedented territory here. And we'll finish things out with Raina Worley. Rotation number 1, a 9.925 in the anchor spot last week. She scored lower than a 9.9 on bars only once this year. And Sam, that was a 9.875. You just saw Angeny score 9.925. Setting up
really
a huge bars rotation.
this really is a great bar team, and Tim Garrison said it the best. He said, we're not maxed out at a 49.4, and you're seeing that. They have great form, pointed toes, straight knees, all of the components. Nice pack salto. And just the dismount here. They said it's not enough to just stick on this Kentucky team anymore. They want them to turn into stone. That's what Raina Worley is across the board. Phenomenal job. She's cranking for that dismount. Tuck full in, legs glued together, spots the ground, pulls it back up for a great landing.
Coming up last week, it was a pure sweep. All 5 events for Suni Lee. That will not happen tonight, but we'll see some of those highlights in just a moment here from Auburn, Alabama. Well, it took the reigning Olympic gold medalist just a little time to settle into college, but Sam, she is absolutely there, sweeping all 4 events against Georgia on the road last week. And then, oh yeah, the all-around, which she hasn't lost in 4 straight meets.
She is so impressive across the board, starting with her bars, which we all knew she was going to come into college gymnastics and take it by a storm. Tonight we're going to see something special, but this is her quote-unquote easy routine. No problems there. Her brand new vault that she debuted, the half-on front layout off. Head coach Jeff Graba calls it the root of the Chang for gymnastics fans. And of course, on floor, she not only can do beautiful tumbling, but her artistry and performance factor is a veteran. She's competed internationally, but let me tell you, the pressure of college gymnastics is just a little bit different than the international elite gymnastics pressure. She seems to be having no problems. Check out her beam. Calm, cool, collected, and of course, you see another stuck landing from Suni Lee.
And she's come 1 judge away from having a 10 on beam in 3 of the last 4 meets. Well, she is heading to bars when we come back. Suni Lee, who has already had a 10-0 on bars this season, is the second one coming. Have to come back and find out. Don't want to miss it. Looking forward to that after we are done here inside Auburn Arena. It is Kentucky and Auburn. Right now it is a 10th and 3/4 lead for Kentucky. What a great start for the Wildcats on bars, where they post a 49.45, really putting the pressure on the number 5 team in the country. And Sam, Jeff Graba will not be happy with vault. Just a 49.275 and no scores breaking the 9.9 mark.
Absolutely, but UK's head coach Tim Garrison put his money where his mouth is. He told us that they are more than a 49.4 bar team, and today they pushed the limit. But I have a feeling that Auburn is going to come back with vengeance on the uneven bars, especially with the Olympic all-around champion, Suni Lee.
And we will see her in just a few moments anchor out this rotation. Some final words of wisdom here for Kentucky, who have that lead. Jillian Prakaski, Mackenzie Wilson will lead things off, and it is all about the start on vault. There are 4 10-0 start values, but even the 9.95s, the Yurchenko fulls, Tim Garrison told us that they are capable, and Prakaski and Wilson at the top of this lineup, they're capable of maxing those out and getting the potential 9.95 mark. We will just have to see here as we get things going on vault.
And their team goal is to stick 50% of the vaults. That means 3 people in the lineup must stick. Couldn't quite find the landing there with Jillian's. That Yurchenko layout full, no problems in the air, just a little stumble on the landing.
She had a career-high 9.9 in the leadoff spot last week. For Auburn on bars, they're 8th in the nation. They had a 49.15 last week, and this is though the event that Jeff Graba has been openly frustrated with. They haven't started strong yet, and then everyone else has been a little bit tight because they haven't gotten that hit at the top of this lineup. We will see if Sophia Groth can provide that. She just debuted on bars last week with a 9.775.
They're really hoping to start this rotation strong, and so far Sophia has been on both handstands hit, legs glued together. Nice execution throughout this routine. Nice.
Vault score 9-8. You saw come in for Prakaski.
And good dismount, little college stick there at the end, but that's the kind of start that head coach Jeff Graba is really looking for in his Auburn team. Sophia is one of those athletes that really has not solidified her spot in the bar lineup yet, but if she keeps leading off with this type of execution and consistency, my bet is that she's going to find her place there for the rest of the season.
Yeah, she completely reworked her bar routine according to Jeff Graba, and should be a great score there. Following up Prakaski is Mackenzie Wilson, now the only other Yurchenko full 995 start value in the lineup. Oh no!
Front pike half, that is a 10-0 start value. Let's check out another look here. Feet are in front of her on the board. Good news there. Nice pike shape. I'd like to see her arms open out a little bit more precisely so she can spot the landing and absorb the mat.
Yes, Sam, that is decidedly not a Yurchenko full for Mackenzie Wilson.
That is not.
Waiting on Sophia
I'm impressed,
Groth's score.
Alex. You're learning a lot here.
Do my best. Addie Salvados now out of Castle Rock, Colorado, the sophomore. A 9-8 for her last week, and trying to follow up that strong start for Auburn that we wait on. There's the bars update coming in, and Groth a 9.875. That is a very good beginning.
Huge way to start things off. Slight leg separation there. Seeing little deductions, and of course this is a subjective sport, so a lot of these deductions are up to 2 tenths, up to 3 tenths. So that's why sometimes you see some score discrepancies. One judge might have seen one deduction, and the other judge might have thought it was a bigger deduction. It'll be interesting to see what the judges see with this routine. Nice handstand there. She gets way above the bar, catches a little bit with an arch back. But this dismount was a highlight for me. Just needs to be a little bit more patient and absorb the landing.
Now, this is a really important rotation for Auburn as well, down that 10th and 3/4. Magnelli to start.
And another front pike half. You're going to see a lot of them in this vault lineup. And they have good technique. Really, they've been training well in the gym, and head coach Tim Garrison thinks that they're competing at a high level. And he saw that especially at Florida last week.
And we've seen a 9.8 and a 9.85 so far on vault for Kentucky. I'll be having some fun in the crowd. They have already broken their attendance mark many times this season. 91-21 is the all-time attendance record, and it's just been supercharged inside Auburn Arena all season long. This is probably going to be the 4th time that they break the attendance record already. It's incredible. Cassie Stevens now on bars. 9.875, 9.85 so far for Auburn.
Seeing good handstands, nice routine flow, slightly short on that last handstand. Looks like it could be below the 10-degree range that the gymnasts are allotted, but nice dismount. Looking to continue the momentum from Sophia's first lead-off bar routine. And that's really where I want to see her, to squeeze her core when she catches the bar for a flatter shape. Opens her arms on that dismount, and of course, a clean landing.
And Sam, this is super important here to try to get some momentum, like you said, keep it going. Gymnastics is certainly a momentum sport. Nothing below a 9.8 so far on vault as Callie Nixon readies.
Here's the Yurchenko layup full you were looking for, Alex. But she didn't quite get the height she needed to finish in that vertical position on the mat.
And so that should probably be the lowest score so far. Again, just 9-8 at the moment by Prokowski in the leadoff spot. And some final words of wisdom to Aria Brush, who good to see her back in the lineup. She's been trying to manage her shoulder and hamstring issues that have plagued her throughout her career. First meet in 3 weeks for her, and she is only competing bars, but we have seen her in all 4 events throughout her career and is terrific on floor as well when she can get back in there physically. Following up the 9.925 from Steven. Sorry, Sam.
She is such a strong athlete. Very good basics. Knows exactly where she is. Awesome air awareness. Little overshot that bail, but brings it back. They're on a roll here on bars. I know Jeff Grava is smiling in the corner somewhere, especially with a dismount like that.
That is a big score coming up. Her career high was 9.9. She might eclipse it here.
Take a look. This is going to be a big score for Auburn. Locks it in, does a great job spotting the landing before her feet even hit the ground. Nailed it.
Did you see how high Kurt Hettinger got? I mean, the amplitude on the leap. He was so excited, that is, for Aria Brush there.
Maybe 1 week of rest was the trick for her. If she can perform like that, they might consider that again.
Now Ariana Patterson, the senior from Texas.
Front pike half. The third one we're seeing in this vault lineup, which is good for them because, of course, that starts from a 10-0.
Brush certainly likes it, waiting on her score. There it is, a 9.925. You'll see it come up right now, so it is a new career high for Brush, and deserved hugs all around. That is the only event that she is scheduled to compete in, so a job very well done. Here's Darian Goburn. The bottom 2 in these lineup, Goburn and Lee, certainly capable of a 10. Goburn is really tried to set Suni up for that 10, though. Really get in the judges' heads of what is possible, Sam, and it really is a family for Auburn this season.
Well, so far in this bar lineup, it looks like, wow, she had so much height that she couldn't quite control how high she was on the bar. She swings so naturally. Oh, man, what a bummer, because it was so beautiful to watch. You see, she did hit the ground, so that's going to be a significant deduction. But look how high she got on that Tkachev. Couldn't quite hang on, but veteran move and took the least amount of deductions possible with that mistake. And, of course, that's going to be the score that they're going to want to drop. But, of course, uncharacteristically for Darian.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Good news is that Suni Lee, who has a 10-0 already this season, is finishing off the rotation. Raina Worley, 9.875 for her in the anchor spot last week. She is currently leading Suni Lee by a 10th after one event in the all-around competition.
You're going to see Yurchenko 1.5 from Raina. Nicely done. Head coach Tim Garrison said it comes down to the technicalities. He said, as a team, we have been working specifically on the shaping in the last quarter of the turn, and it really showed up here in the meet today.
All right, now Suni. 9.925 in the anchor spot last week. She was named the SEC Gymnast of the Week at a 39.775 in the all-around a week ago against Georgia. And Sam, she is about to do something, at least that is what we have been told, on bars that has never been done in college gymnastics. Tell us what to look out for.
She is going to be doing a skill called the Nabieva. So it's a toe-on layout to Tkachev release move. So gymnastics fans watching, you know exactly what I'm talking about because it's a skill that she's most known for doing at the Olympic Games. Head coach Jeff Grava said that she actually does the Nabieva routine 3 times a day, more than the quote-unquote easy routine that she's been competing in college. But she's been bored. She's ready to throw this difficult release move, and it just got approved in the Code of Points, the NCAA Code of Points, 3 days ago.
It's absolutely incredible. It was originally added to the Code of Points back in 2010, so it hasn't existed for that long, even in the international stage. All right, let's sit back and enjoy this one.
When we started the coach's call, Jeff Graba said she wasn't going to do it, but by the end of the coach's call, we had convinced him that there could be a chance, and we're seeing it here tonight. She is making history again in college gymnastics. Huge! Nabieva, Pax Salto, Van Leeuwen back up to the high bar. If she sticks this dismount, it could be another 10 for Sunisa Lee.
Oh, Suni continuing to rewrite the record books.
Huge routine. Can you imagine the first time she does the difficult Nabieva routine, she scores a perfect 10. It could be tonight. Let's take another look. Toe-on layout to Tkachev directly into that Pax Salto. And here's the dismount. It's too easy for her, Alex. I don't know what more you can do.
All right, we wait on the score from Suni Lee. We're now joined by the Kentucky head coach, Tim Garrison. Well, it looks like possibly another 10 here for Sunisa Lee. Tim, are you with us?
I am.
Hey, Tim, so a great start for you guys. You know your best 2 events are bars and vault. Bars was fantastic, and vault, you kind of back it up. How do you think the meet's going so far?
You know, I think we had a solid start on bars, rather, and flew high, did a lot of great things over there, and then landings on vault weren't quite exactly what we wanted. We didn't plan to give away that much, but still performed some solid vault, so we're feeling good through 2.
What's the focus heading into beam and floor?
You know what, I told them this is an electric atmosphere. We need to plug into it. You know, they need to fly high and, you know, perform really well, get this crowd cheering for them if possible. And, you know, like I said, fly high and stop real fast. That's the goal. And then go over to beam and just be calm and present the way I know they can present.
All right, Tim, appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
You betcha.
So it is not a 10 for Suni Lee, unfortunately. She came 1 judge away, but it goes down as a 9.975. When we come back, Sam and I will break down what NQS means, the National Qualifying Score, how the rankings work for college gymnastics. You don't want to miss it. Qualifying score, because now this is how the rankings are determined. What you do is you take the top 6 regular season scores, 3 of those have to be on the road, you drop the highest score and average the remaining 5. So it's a mathematical formula. It's really not that hard to understand when you take a look at it. Let's do it, Sam, here with Auburn and show you an example how they get to number 5 in the country. So right away, the top 6 scores are the bottom 6 scores, so you throw out the tri-meet at the beginning. There are 3 road meets in there, Arkansas, LSU, and Georgia, so that is solidified. At LSU goes away, though, because that is the top score for this season. So that 197.75 is thrown out. We average the remaining 5 scores, all of them, as you can see, well over 197. And here is where Auburn fits into the national picture. They are right there in the middle of the top 10, number 5 in the country. And as you take a look at the rest of them, there are some really good SEC teams that are in the mix here as well. Look at Florida coming in at number 3, LSU right behind with Alabama and Missouri in the top 10 as well. But Kentucky doesn't have 3 road scores, Sam. This will give them enough to be eligible to be ranked in the NQS.
And they're going to be ranked pretty high, but that's what makes this meet at Auburn so important. They need a great team score since it's considered an away meet. They're competing at Auburn. It solidifies that box, and they just need a big score in general. So it's a big deal here.
And so far, off to a great start as well. We'll be back in just a few moments with rotation number 3. Auburn heading to the beam. No 10 for Suni, but the fans wanted it here on the Plains. Well, Kentucky had the lead after one rotation. Auburn takes it back, but only by 3/4 of a tenth. This thing is still razor close. Auburn with their second highest bars rotation in program history of 49.575 to seize the lead back. The highlight, certainly Suni Lee, who one judge gave her a 10, one a 9.95. So she does not get her second perfect 10-0 on bars, even though she was as close as you can get. All right, third rotation on tap with Kentucky on the road. They are going to Florida, where they had a 49.375 last week. This is a team that can put up a big number and really challenge Auburn, but they, Sam, are extremely strong on beam, the second best team in the nation, only behind Florida.
Kentucky is icy. They are one of those teams that has the blinders on, focusing on themselves, which is tough to do in an arena like Auburn. Look how many fans there are. The energy is electric, and like we heard from head coach Tim Garrison, they're gonna try and use that energy. We all know the gymnasties, but first, we're focused up on beam and Auburn.
Olivia Hollingsworth will lead things off, a 49.2 in this rotation last week. Olivia had a mistake on the dismount, scored just a 9.175, and it kind of shook the confidence just a little bit. But the back end of this rotation, really most of it, is some of the best in the country here for Jeff Graba.
Well, Alex, you mentioned the mistake that Olivia had last weekend, and head coach Jeff Graba said it was completely uncharacteristic, and it was the best thing that could have happened for this team because it forced them to get a little gritty and to prove that the back half of the lineup could handle it and do it under pressure no matter what. Slight bobble there.
Something else on the line for Auburn. If they're able to beat Kentucky, they are still in the running for a potential SEC regular season championship. Florida's already clinched at least a share for the fourth straight year. But who do they have next? Florida. And a chance to take them down at home.
Finishing here, side aerial full, no problems. But if you looked closely, there was an issue with her foot. Her heel was off the beam on that side aerial, but she was able to adjust and pull it back on to save the dismount. Good series, back handspring layout to start things off. Check out her foot, her heel right there. It was off, she moves it back on, veteran move.
And remember, one mistake will not be the difference in this meet, because 6 gymnasts compete, 5 scores count, the lowest is dropped. So you do have a little bit of a margin for error. And now for Kentucky, adding Jillian Prakaski back in on the leadoff spot, the freshman from Austin. First time for her competing in almost a month last week with a 9.825.
She's now doing a 2-pass routine. They reworked some of her compensation. Felt like it elevated her scoring potential.
Is that a big adjustment, Sam, for you as a gymnast?
Going from 3 passes to 2 passes, absolutely. It is so much more taxing to add that extra pass in there.
9.825 for Olivia Hollingsworth in the leadoff spot on beam for Auburn.
Finishing double back. She gets the 1/10 bonus for doing the 2 flip pass in her last pass, but she did step out of bounds. So she lost a 10th there.
And so shifting back to beam now for Auburn, it's Piper Smith, the junior. But first, Sam, points of emphasis on this apparatus.
We're gonna be looking at the dance and acro skills. Of course, those connections have to be continuous and balance. You can notice when someone has a balance check, and we don't want to see any of those today.
That is how you get a big score on beam, where, of course, Auburn is so good. A 9.825 for Smith last week. That was just the 2nd beam routine for her this season, and only the 6th in her career.
She's been doing such a good job filling in that head coach Jeff Graba, he said that it's going to actually make lineups difficult when Aria comes back. It's a good problem to have. You see missed connection right there. see what she does. Switch half. She's connecting it into that split jump to get all of her bonus. But you know what I appreciate about her working beam right now is she's really taking the time. It changed the direction of her routine. She's making sure that she has all the requirements. Ooh. She looked really calm going into that back handspring layout, but she was off right from the beginning.
Remember, Olivia Hollingsworth started with a 9.825. Auburn could certainly drop this because early on last week, Hollingsworth, the problem with the dismount, then they had hits in a row, which gave them a score that was a little bit lower than they're used to with the 49.2, but certainly saved the meet for them as well.
What's important is to not let that mistake be contagious. She does a good job finishing strong there.
That was a stick on the dismount for Piper Stick. Come on.
Check out this series. You see she's already to the right side of the beam. Didn't quite pull up strong enough on that right side to use her arms. She rushed that series just slightly.
But some leeway as well. Sorry, Sam.
The difficult thing about beam is that all these adjustments have to be in a split second when you're off. And the points of emphasis we're checking out on floor: difficulty, artistry, and of course those landings.
Jillian Prokaski started with that 9.725. Again, attempt deduction taken for going out of bounds. And now Ashlyn Leclerc. Tim Garrison loves the back end of this lineup. I mean, 4, 5, and 6 in Higas, Davis, and Worley are some of the best that you see in the SEC and beyond, but still trying to figure out the top of this order, Sam. And you know, we're now past the midway point of the season pretty much, and it's time to figure out who is going to be able to perform in these types of situations.
So this is a great opportunity for Ashlyn to really prove she has what it takes to solidify her spot in this lineup.
She entered it a month ago. Didn't compete in her first 2 years, the junior from right around Binghamton in New York. Sam, just look at the student presence here inside Auburn Arena. Suni Lee and the rest of the Tigers have taken this town and really all of college gymnastics by storm.
Well, it looks like Ashlyn is taking that energy from the crowd because that was a really good floor routine. And there's nothing like doing a good floor routine in front of a huge crowd, let alone the gymnasties. How special.
I feel like they get just as much of a workout as some of the gymnasts do.
That's amazing.
So
I want to
now,
be a gymnasty. How do you apply for that position?
I think we need to look into it, don't we? I think maybe we could be honorary gymnasties, but there might be a waiting list at this point, to be honest with you.
Hey, I interviewed them last time I was there, and they take their job very seriously.
I want to know how we get a Jeff Grabe ahead. Cassie Stevens, 2021 All-SEC member. Watch out for the Stevens. Sam will tell you when it comes up. Skill named after her.
This is an important routine to prove that she can handle the pressure to hit her routine after a mistake. They were able to do it last week. And it's good practice. You never want mistakes in the lineup, but it's better to do it now rather than in postseason.
And we saw Smith's score come in at a 9.225. Certainly want to drop that.
Coming up, here is the Stevens. Man, it impresses me every single time. Whoa.
A shaky routine here from Stevens, who is usually so good.
Looks like she's rushing just a bit on each one of her skills. I want her to take a deep breath before this dismount. No problems there. She just needed to stay on. She's getting the momentum back on track here for Auburn on beam. And let me remind you, they're ranked second in the nation on this event. So they have what it takes to handle the pressure. Just didn't quite hang on to that series.
This could be an event once you get into the postseason, Sam, where Auburn could really set itself apart, not only in the regionals, but potentially once you get to national championships down in Fort Worth. Isabella Magnelli set a 9.85 in 2 straight weeks, following up LeClaire's 9.875. That was a good bounce back for Kentucky.
Rudy, back layout, step out. She's the athlete on the team that Tim Garrison said is going to have the most fun with the gymnasties.
And Sam, we're going to see the gymnasties in the postseason too, because Auburn is one of the 4 hosts for the regionals this year.
Lucky for them. She rushed the landing, didn't quite get her chest up. But she's an athlete where the performance factor is there. Had a little uncharacteristic mistake on that double pike. But other than that, her leaps and jumps, full extension. Rudy, layout, step out to start things off.
But the pressure is still squarely on Auburn. On beam, they're going to have to count the 9.7 that Cassie Stevens just put up. And we'll see how Groth, McLaughlin, and Lee do to finish out beam. Only 1 loss so far this season for Auburn. It was at LSU, and it was a razor-thin margin, but they're in danger. The Wildcats could really take advantage here in this 3rd rotation.
Listen, Sophia Groth is the gymnast for the job. She is young. She's only a freshman, but she is one of those athletes that's a natural beam worker. So you can tell she's a little nervous. She's going quicker than her normal rhythm, but she's intense and she's tight. Her core is squeezed, and she does a nice job of absorbing the beam when she lands.
Groth tied a career high with a 9.95 last week. Auburn could sorely use that kind of score here for Groth.
You see the big smile after that full turn. Sometimes it's the full turns that get you, but no problems. She is loosened up now, competing beam like she normally does. Last week she got a 9.95, and she's someone that should be consistently scoring a 9.95 or higher.
And Magnelli with the 9.775. Doors open once again, and Groth walks right through it.
Amazing job from the freshman nonetheless. I'm a huge fan of her beam style. Very confident up there. Finish things off with that side aerial, back layout full. Works the landing. It's gonna be a good score for Auburn.
Yeah, leave it to Groth, the freshman, to get the train right back on the tracks. Following Magnelli is Anna Hygis, and this is where we start the real meat of the lineup for Kentucky on floor. Hygis, Davis, and Worley to finish. Hygis is so much fun. This is a great floor routine.
Starting these off with another combination pass, that Rudy back layout step up. No built-in deductions, I like to see that.
There's Groth's score. 9.95 again for the 2nd straight week, tying a career high. I mean, that could end up being the difference in the meet, the fact that she was able to put up that big a score when her team needed it the most. Again, having to count the 9.7 from Stevens.
Finishing double pike. All smiles for an easy landing there. Nice, comfortable, fun routine, and that's really how head coach Tim Garrison describes this team. Of course, they're making the gymnasties work over there in that bridge position. I am here for that. Here's that lead-off combination pass. Minimal, if any, deductions there. And she's happy with that.
And so following the 9.95 for Sophia Groth, Gabby McLaughlin. McLaughlin and then Suni Lee in her third of 4 events tonight. Auburn being challenged. What are the Tigers made of? We know that if they have national championship hopes, they're going to be in much more pressure-packed situations than this.
Well, I asked Jeff Graba what's been the difference this year. You're ranked second on beam. He said, really, it's the confidence. We're not really sweating the small stuff. They have the trust in each gymnast that goes up in the lineup. And that's something that you just feel across the board. Nice. Switch leap, back handspring layout.
And Higas' score was a 9.925. So that compares very favorably to what Groth just did, and this is still a very tight meet here towards the end of this third rotation.
This is a really good beam routine so far. I love how artistic it is from start to finish, but when she lands her acrobatic skills, she's really sharp, which is something that the judges look for. Of course, we're looking for a step landing on the dismount, and assuming she can get that done, Alex, this is going to be big. Job well done from Gabby McLaughlin. I'd say they're getting things back on track here. Switch leap right into that back handspring layout. That's a unique combination. We don't see that very often, and she executed it extremely well. Finishes, nice gainer off the end.
Exactly what Auburn was looking for from the sophomore from Irving, Texas. Again, following up Groth's 9.95, so on beam, Auburn is not done by a long shot, and they have Suni Lee to finish things off, who's one of the best in the country. Haley Davis rebounded from a season low 2 weeks ago. Last week, a career high tying 9.925 against Florida.
Nice opening double pike. But what I want you to watch in her routine is actually her leaps and jumps. They are so big, Tim Garrison could probably stand underneath her popa.
I would love to just see that in practice. Just see if it's actually true.
Right there, huge.
She'll need a big score to offset Gabby McLaughlin's, who just came in at 9.925.
Beautiful. Not
Remember,
only is
after
she
Haley Davis is Raina Worley.
I was just gonna say, not only is Haley capable of a big score, but she's perfect for setting up Raina for a big number.
Which she is more than capable of. At some point, Sam, we're gonna see a 10-0 from Raina Worley on floor. We are just waiting for that moment. Maybe it is tonight.
Nice finish. Good solid ending there. Exactly what you plan to do. Set Raina Worley up for a big score. And you mentioned that 10.0, and I gotta say, I want Raina Worley to get a 10 on floor just as badly as I wanted Suni to get a 10 on bars. So my fingers are still crossed for both of them.
One might be coming on beam, though. She tied her career high with a 9.975 last week. She has that score in 3 of the last 4 meets. Only one judge in all of those has said no to the 10-0. Maybe her first one on beam is coming for the reigning SEC Gymnast of the Week and the Olympic all-around gold medalist.
Typically with high-achieving athletes like Sunisa Lee, like Kyla Ross, they tend to do their best when there's the most amount of pressure. So I wouldn't be surprised if she is extra locked in, knowing how much is on the line here.
And she doesn't see it, but Hallie Davis's score was a 9.95. So Auburn really does need a huge one here from Lee to try to hold on to this lead going into the fourth rotation.
Front aerial, her arms continue to move to get the connection, no problems on that 3-series combination. Doing a good job spotting the beam.
Sam, I was going to say, every skill, it's like the tension builds. It's like she just has to hit another one and then maybe one more, and potentially we'll see it.
She's in the zone here, finishing up with a back handspring, gator layout full off the beam. And it's going to be another big score for Suni and for Auburn. Really something to look for here is her arm positions. They both come up and over her head. She spots the end of the beam. And of course, nice finish with that lunge position.
I mean, there's no such thing as automatic in college gymnastics, but Suni Lee is about as close as you can get.
She works towards robotic gymnastics.
It's her first on beam in her college career.
So we didn't see it on bars, but let me tell you, I'll take it on beam. Congratulations, Sunisa Lee. She's just racking them up this year.
How many will she get when it's all said and done and her career is over? And now Raina Worley has to go on floor following that in front of the gymnastes. She sees the 10-0, she hears the crowd, and all the pressure is on the junior shoulders. I mean, this is why everybody comes to Auburn Arena every Friday night that they're there. They want to see Suni, they want to see the number 5 Tigers and put up these huge scores. It's so great for the sport.
But guess what? You know an athlete that can handle the pressure of going after Sunisa Lee? It's Raina Worley. She's got her blinders on, she's in the zone, and she is just as intense as Suni was on that beam routine.
We're also on 10-0 watch for her, 2 9.975s this year.
I'm ready for it. There was no problems with that E-pass, the full in to start things off. Legs glued on that combination pass. Release milks that landing.
And Sam, the two were tied in the all-around after 2 events as well. Expect them to be competing for individual all-around championships come April.
Finishing up here with that double back. I didn't see any feet shuffling. She points right at the gymnastes. She wants it, Tim wants it. I see him chanting that 10. We'll see what the judges do.
We have not seen many better floor routines in Raina Worley's career at all. For Suni, she got a 10-0. Are we going to get to see it for Kentucky as well, for Raina Worley to finish off the 3rd rotation? And we're now joined by Auburn head coach Jeff Graba. Well, Jeff, there's the first 10-0. We thought it was going to come on bars with the Nabieva. How did it not? But we did get the first 10-0 for Suni on beam. What is it like to coach an athlete of her caliber?
You actually have to keep it interesting. She gets bored easy, so that's why we're throwing some stuff. We're trying to keep her interested and challenged, you know. So she wants to throw everything, and she's really good at it. So, you know, I don't know what happened on bars either, but it's a heck of a routine.
Well, Jeff, it's a close meet between you and Kentucky. I know you're in the zone heading to floor, but what's the key for you guys finishing the job on that last event?
Well, floor's been pretty good for us. We just have to have our energy up, and we've got to get our landings down. You know, if we do that, we should be fine. And I'm looking at performance level. We knew it was going to be a close meet with Kentucky. They're that good, and we're that good. So we were fully prepared to go to the final rotation, you know, knotted up.
Jeff, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
He is absolutely right. Both of these teams, two of the best in the country. And one more look at the first 10-0 in Suni Lee's career on beam, Sam. It was absolutely flawless. Exactly what she was looking for when it was all said and done here in a sold-out Auburn arena. So good. Let's just take another look at Suni Lee's first 10-0 on beam. Sam, you would imagine it is her first of many, though. This was electric, spectacular, whatever superlative you want to throw out there.
I could tell right when she saluted and took that little breath that it was game time for her. She was in the zone. It was beautiful and it was artistic, but there was an extra level of focus that I noticed from start to finish. Check out her arm positions here, directly into that back handspring layout, floats down to that beam. You can see her eyes are glued to the end of the beam. That's the mark of a really great beam worker. She knows exactly where she is. And then, of course, does an amazing job bending her knees and absorbing the landing for a perfect stick. And, of course, it was rewarded.
The team loves it. Everyone inside Auburn Arena absolutely loves it, and a much-deserved 10-0. Fourth rotation coming up. We'll see Suni on floor to finish off the meet. You will see the entire SEC Gymnastics Championship. Look at the all-around through three. How about that? A half a tenth separating Suni Lee and Raina Worley, two of the best to do it in college gymnastics. This last rotation should be electric, with Auburn going to the floor, the main event here on the Plains tonight, and Kentucky to the beam. Alex Perlman, Sam Peshek back with you. And Sam, it has been razor close all meet long. How about going into this one deadlocked? 148.25 for both teams.
It's going to be a really good last event, and it's going to showcase which team could handle the pressure, considering we are tied going into this last meet. Both of these teams, of course, have been elevating each meet. They've been improving those little details, the technicalities. UK's head coach Tim Garrison said, "We used to be the team that people rested other people on. They used to play their B team against Kentucky." He said that doesn't happen anymore, and that sort of confidence is something that the team can feel across the board.
This is a huge test now for Kentucky, who is only 18th in the nation on beam. That's by average. Of course, they don't have the NQS yet. They need this road score, which is turning out to potentially be a big one if they can take care of beam to close things out.
Beam has actually been one of their weaker events this year, but not because of talent, not because of hard work. They just need a little bit more experience competing in these big arenas, and what a great opportunity here in Auburn.
But Tim had one question when it comes to beam. Can you be calm?
This is a really nice leadoff routine so far. No major deductions, no wobbles, and starting things off with a stick is a step in the right direction for Kentucky on beam.
Yeah, that is way better than the season low 9.675 that she had in the leadoff last week. What a bounce back.
She finishes things off here with a gainer pike off the end of the beam. No problems there.
And so the gymnasties are getting ready to rev it up. Push that pedal down. Auburn is 7th in the nation on floor. They had a 49-425 last week. It's the same lineup from what they did. Hubbard, Watson, Stevens, Groth. You see Suni Lee, and then Darian Goburn, who is one of the more electric and exciting floor workers in the entire country.
Starting things off with an E-pass, quick to that landing.
A reminder, when we're done, Arkansas and Georgia coming up right here on SEC Network, the last part of our Friday Night Heights triple header. Sam Luxick score a 9.95 on Beam, a career high for her in the leadoff spot.
Well deserved. Sarah's one of those athletes that's been doing a really good job in this floor lineup, but Jeff Graba said that it's really Sarah, Arya, and Ananda fighting for this spot. She brings the difficulty, especially in that combination pass. And I don't know what more you could ask for Sarah. She is fighting for that spot, and she's doing it well. Clean landing, she has the difficulty, and I like the performance quality. Good lead off. Here's that combination pass we're talking about. Spots the landing.
And remember, not only is she competing for a spot in this terrific lineup for Auburn, she's also trying to match the 9.95 from Shaylin Luxick. Carissa Clay now, the sophomore from San Diego, in her only event. Feeling a lot more comfortable. Just her second collegiate beam routine last week, though. And this is a real X factor now for Tim Garrison's team.
Starting things off with the back handspring now. Oh, man.
And they're a 9.9 for Sarah Hubbard.
Carissa is an athlete that was getting really nervous when she started competing beam, but last time she competed, she told Tim that she felt so much more comfortable up there. She started telling herself those positive affirmations, I got this. But every once in a while, when that negative voice creeps in, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of doubt, it's really hard to adjust on this event.
All right, so now this is certainly the routine that Kentucky will want to drop. And in the fourth rotation, you can start to compare. Look at one gymnast for one team versus the other. A 9.95 for Luxick, a 9.9 for Hubbard. It is advantage Kentucky at the moment with that half a tenth lead. Remember, everything was all perfectly tied up going into the fourth rotation.
But Carissa's doing a good job not letting that one mistake turn into two. She's still fighting for that landing. She's not going to be happy with that, but it's one of those situations where mistakes do happen. Let's see what went wrong. She threw her head back on that layout, which means she wasn't spotting the end of the beam to know how to adjust when she jumped for that layout.
And now the pressure is squarely on the Wildcats. Drew Watson, a 9.85 last week versus Georgia. She was a staple on floor all 4 years. And now this is number 5 on the Plains. Remember, with one score being dropped, you see the score on the bottom right of your screen. Not completely accurate because it doesn't drop the lowest score, but you can get a sense of where these two teams stand with everything tied going into this rotation.
Drew started things off with a big double Arabian. Drew's one of those athletes. She's a 50th. So you see the tape on her legs. She's got the wear and tear. It's the middle of the season. Head coach Jeff Graba said that they've started altering and really tapering those workouts and not doing as many hard landings. So competition settings are really turning into their practice, especially with these floor routines.
It's been a seesaw meet so far. Kentucky had the lead after 1. Auburn took it right back, and after 3, we were tied. It is about as even as you could hope for. And just a terrific meet here on Friday Night Heights.
Last pass, double back. Great save on the landing. She gave it some extra juice. Sometimes you do that if you're struggling in the energy department.
Everyone.
She cooked it, overcooked it, took a big lunge back, minimal deductions like a pro. Here's that first pass. It's an E pass, which means it's a lot of difficulty. Half twist, 2 front flips. You see she took a little baby hop forward. If you just take a lunge forward, there's no deductions. So I'm sure she's going to be working towards that.
And now so the pressure really squarely on the shoulders of McNally, because Kentucky needs a hit after that floor routine from Watson. And we'll try to drop Carissa Clay's 9-1-2-5 after the fall. You see Luksic did her job in the leadoff spot.
Really difficult triple series, and she was crooked, but was able to pull it back on in that last layout. You can see she's pretty calm even after that slight bobble up there.
And Watson score at 9-9-2-5. Back-to-back 9-9s or better on floor for Auburn.
Tim told us just how important Isabella is on 3 events, being included in that. Even though she has had a mistake, she's really calm and she's giving off a very good energy to the rest of the team. That's important in a situation like this when there's a lot of pressure on the line. She struggled a little bit here on this series. Layout. That back knee is bent, which means she didn't push all the way through it. And sometimes that makes you crooked on beam.
All right, so we'll wait on McNally's score. Of course, that is going to have to be counted. And now Stevens, a 9-8-7-5 last week. She's competed floor, that is, and completed in all but 1 meet this season. They both work.
Floor is another event that I feel like Auburn has a lot more potential that they haven't shown yet. Front layout to Rudy to start things off.
And there she incorporates the Stevens into her floor routine as well. And the beam scores a 9-8-7-5. So even with that balance check, still a very good number for Kentucky.
And we talk about Jeff Graba and the respect that he has for the Kentucky program. He knew they were going to come into this meet firing on all cylinders. So even though they had a fall on beam, it's not over until the fat lady sings. They're extremely well coached, and they want this win just as bad as Auburn does. But Cassie locks in that last pass. They're making it pretty tough for them.
Yeah, this is how you close things out if you want to be a potential national championship contender. 9-9-9-2-5, and Cassie Stevens is going to put up a big score in the 3 spot on floor.
Let's take another look here. That last pass, double back, spots the landing. 1 lunge step back, no deductions. Sells the rest of her routine. Great job,
It has
Cassie.
been advantage Auburn here in rotation number 4 so far. Ariana Patterson. She replaced Anna Higas in the lineup last week and tied her career high with a 9.85. It was her season debut on beam. And Stevens' score comes in at a 9-9. Something to say about a team that knows the meat is on the line and they just absolutely close it out. Especially being here at home. You're expected to have a little bit of an advantage going to floor in front of your home crowd, and Auburn is using it.
Man, great job on that back handspring layout series, but that was also crooked. I don't know if the beam is crooked or what's going on over there, but she did a nice job adjusting. Not quite as well adjusting on that front aerial, but she picks things back up. Of course, Kentucky has not scored above a 49-3 on this event yet this season. They were hoping tonight was going to be the night, but I'm not quite sure.
The good news is Raina Worley and Josie Angeny are two of the best you're going to find to close out beam for Kentucky. So we'll see what Patterson's score comes in at.
There's something to say about gaining experience competing in a loud arena, and it's hard to simulate that in practice. You can do the challenges. Their beam coach Rachel does competitions, simulates neat settings, but there's really nothing that replaces this amount of fans.
And I'm sure Kentucky has to know that Tim Garrison definitely on his mind what the NQS will look like next week when they do get this road score. It is set up to be a really big one. I mean, at this point, they're not going to get a 198.075, but that is what the potential was coming into this rotation. We'll see. I mean, something in the 197s is certainly not out of the realm of possibility, and that would put them in the top 10 in the country, you would imagine. Oh. That could be the one that Auburn looks to drop here after 3 straight of 9-9, 9-9-2-5, and 9-9 for Hubbard, Watson, and Stevens.
Just open with that front handspring double twist. That's an E pass. Missed the timing there.
Same, we just saw Patterson score fly by at 9-8-7-5, matching Magnelli. They're still right in it even after the fall.
Sophia comes back strong with that second pass.
Is it hard knowing you made that kind of mistake to finish out strong? Does it take real mental toughness?
It's the worst, knowing that you made a mistake. You know exactly what you did wrong. You can't go back and fix it, yet you have to finish the routine to the best of your abilities. So it takes a lot of mental strength, which I think Sophia did a great job showcasing here, to just let it go and focus on the thing and the skill and the tumbling pass right in front of you. But let's see what went wrong. She's doing a front handspring double full. Does a good job in that front handspring. Doesn't quite get it around. It looks like she stepped with a super straight knee and almost tripped on her step more so than the actual tumbling pass. We can chalk that up to a whoopsies.
All right, Raina Worley to close out her all-around night. She was down to Suni Lee by just a half a tenth, even after Suni Lee put up the 10-0 on beam. Worley a 9.875 last week. She is so comfortable on beam that she sings her way through it and has such an eclectic taste in music, according to Tim Garrison, that even on the road, when she doesn't necessarily know the music, she's still able to know the lyrics.
She's right on beat. I'm watching her mouth more than I'm watching her actual gymnastics. It's a good strategy maybe for the judges, but she doesn't need them to be distracted because she doesn't have those built-in deductions on beam. She moves nicely through this beam routine. And again, like a pro, she doesn't take her eyes off the end of the beam. That is crucial.
Tim Garrison said the little things the last couple of weeks haven't been as sharp as usual, but she's ready to break out of that this week, and that's what we've seen.
Nice routine. That little hop on the landing was her biggest deduction throughout the entire routine. Check out this triple series. Front aerial into that back handspring layout. Great work. Here's where the biggest deduction I saw was right here. That hop to salute.
And so once we get Worley's score, we'll know what Suni Lee needs to do to solidify the all-around. She will have a chance to win it right here no matter what. Sophia broke the 9.75. They'll look to drop that score with 3 9.9s or better for Auburn to start this rotation. Lee tied a career high with a 9.95 last week, where she won every event and the all-around with a 39.775, the reigning SEC Gymnast of the Week. And there's Auburn's scores so far. Excellent on floor.
Opens with a big double layout.
So Worley with a 9.95, which means Suni needs a 9.925 to win the all-around.
And it's possible. She is definitely capable of scoring that or higher. Of course, with her beautifully extended and overstretched leaps that we just saw.
9.925, by the way, is Suni's average this season.
Does a good job taking a step. They always have to work on that with the elite gymnasts because they're so used to sticking the landing. I didn't see many deductions, Alex. I don't know what they're gonna do.
I think a 9.925 is a foregone conclusion. Is she about to get her second 10-0 of the night is the question.
Here's that double layout in E-pass. Nice stretch shapes. Sells it on the landing. In that combination, lots of difficulty there.
And it's a 9.975 for Suni. So she does win the all-around. She resets her career high, coming for the second time today, one judge away from a 10-0. The other one, she actually did get the 10-0. And now Josie Anthony will close things out on beam. One of the better beam workers in the country that unfortunately just didn't have it right there. And that will pretty much take Kentucky most likely out of the meet as well. They were really hanging in after the fall.
I'm shocked, and I think everyone's faces, her teammates' faces says it all. I've never seen her. She's the iciest competitor for the past 5 years, and I know she just is kicking herself because she has hit this beam routine millions of times. We talk about having to finish a routine after a mistake, and you can tell this is not a fun one for her to have to finish. But it shows the cracks in their beam foundation, and they still have not figured that out. And let me tell you, I bet Raina and Josie and the other leadership council gymnasts on their team are gonna have a little sit down and figure out why they are not hitting to their full potential on this event, because they are capable of it.
They are, and I think even with this score, Kentucky's going to put up a great road score, and the NQS should be still very high. We're waiting to see what the final one is. Carissa Clay's 9.125 is what's about to be dropped at the moment. We'll see what Josie Anthony comes in at to close out beam for Kentucky. But if Darian Goburn does her job, she could put up a 10-0, or she can certainly finish out this meet in style, and this is kind of the reason that you come to Auburn Arena as well, to see Darian. the floor queen.
Well, it's interesting because coaches describe Suni's relationship with Darion as very symbiotic. They like to set each other up, and Suni did that extremely well right here.
Yeah, Darion setting it up on bars for Suni, and vice versa on floor for Darion.
Now the goal for Darion is to not get ahead of herself. Don't think about the possibility of getting a 10. Just do the job in front of you. Easier said than done, though.
I just love how throughout the routine she fires herself up. Missy Elliott inspired. Actually, she followed Darion on social media.
That's so cool.
That just goes to show you the type of widespread appeal college gymnastics has, and it's only growing. It's like a rocket ship taking off. And it's just, if you're not on the train, what are you doing? It's the best it's ever been, and it's only going to continue to get better. And their Anthony's score 9.25. So Auburn has already won the meet. And Kentucky's score comes in a 197.15. So that's the score that they'll count for the NQS next week. We'll see where they slot in at.
Nice double pike.
It's not over until the crown comes out, though.
She wants it. She wants the 10. Her teammates were raiding the floor before she's even off.
Everyone inside Auburn Arena. It's another sellout, fourth one of the season. Over 9,000 here on the Plains.
Phenomenal job from Darion. The performance quality sticks out to me, but you can't not talk about her tumbling as well. It's dynamic, it's powerful, and she has a great air awareness in every single pass.
I can tell by Suni's reaction, did not get the 10-0. We're still waiting on that one for Darion. At some point, it's going to come. It's a 9.975, back-to-back. One judge away for both Lee and Goburn. What a meet for Auburn. They come so close to the 198 mark, but not quite there. Suni Lee, for the fifth straight time, is the all-around champion, a 39.775. We'll wrap it all up when we come back. Another big win at home for the number 5 Tigers. What a meet tonight. Suni Lee, her second 10-0, her first on beam, and the all-around champion once again, Sam.
Well, you guys are watching Sunisa Lee single-handedly change the landscape of college gymnastics as we know it with this huge Nabieva combination. This skill wasn't even in the code of points until 3 days ago. And not only does she execute it, but she's almost perfect, scoring a 9.975. But here, she was perfect. A perfect 10 on balance beam. You're gonna notice good rhythm and extreme sense of focus, and she does an amazing job absorbing those landings.
It is a night to remember, 197.925, the highest score in Auburn history. And they close it out with a 49.675, which is their best floor score ever. What a meet it was here in Auburn. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up next, our final meet of the night, Georgia and Arkansas. We'll send you to Bart Connor and Kathy Johnson-Clark. Tigers reign here in Auburn. For Sam Pescick, I'm Alex Perlman, saying so long. Bart and Kathy, all yours.